Really.
How was it?
It was good. It was, it was just the water game of the century.
Yeah, the stadium was flooded, man.
It was. It was every time they fell and stuff, or like every time they ran, you could see them splashing. Like
I bet you it was fun.
It was pretty fun. It was a good time. I was telling people, that's what it was like when we were playing when we were kids.
Yeah, because all of our fields were in like retention areas. Like it was like a giant pit next to a suburb for the runoff rainwater.
Literally, that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
And so every time we played,
I forget that one time, dude. It was like flooded for like a week, and we'd show up to practice, couldn't practice because it was still flooded, and there's like dead raccoons floating in the water. And then as soon as you could step foot on grass, we're playing in there. You know what I mean? And all that shit just soaked into the ground. We're just rolling around in that mud.
Good times, man. But
yeah,
looks like you guys got some heavy rainstorms. I saw them seeding that out here over the last few days.
You did call it the other day.
I told you.
Yeah, you're like, it's going to come to you.
Mike,
so
we plan your weather here in Colorado. If you ever need to know what's coming at you, just ask me what's going on in Colorado. And I'll be like, oh, seeding some clouds. It's coming for you. A little rain action.
So it's either the government seeding clouds in Colorado to flood Chicago, or it's September and we're entering a rainy, cold season.
Yes, very possible that both are true. I like to go with the government control theory myself. It's kind of my thing, but to each his own.
On a day like today, why not?
Mike, what is today?
Are you kidding me? Didn't you see the news all day, Frank?
Oh, you're right. It's
the Queen died, dude. We're having a funeral. You didn't see it? It's the most important day of our lives, of history. Why? What else is it?
You're right. I can't think of anything else. Oh,
well, okay. Let's not forget it is Sunday, Lord's Day.
That's right. Day of rest.
Little praise up to Yahweh.
It's kickoff weekend.
It's
right?
What?
The NFL kicked off this weekend, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Season opener. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
And
I think that's about it, Frank.
9/11, Mike. Come on.
Oh, 9/11. I couldn't tell by the fucking news. I guess we forgot. Did you see how much they covered the Queen?
Wow, I was shocked actually this morning for sure. I clicked on around the time where the planes crashed. I thought they would do the whole marking of the time and moment of silence. There was nothing.
Moment of silence, dude. No,
it doesn't
nothing
exist.
But Britain, the Queen. Oh my God, Harry and the other. They met for the first time since the one dude's bitch wife called them all racist. It's like, dude, I don't care about this.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
No?
You know why?
No.
You can't talk about 9/11, Frank. Then everybody's going to talk about Afghanistan.
Ooh, good call. Great call. Wow.
Didn't 9/11? What did we do in retaliation? Didn't we do something? Oh, yeah, we went to Afghanistan. Well, what happened? Let's not talk about that.
I was also thinking about how the Biden administration, considering they just hired a Satanist to be in their cabinet to head the monkeypox thing, I feel like maybe they just don't want to celebrate the United States in any capacity. And what was one of maybe wasn't that the most unifying moment you can think of in our country's history in the modern era?
Yeah, I think that's why they didn't want to do it, because it was when a Republican was president.
Right.
And that was the last time America was truly unified.
And his first pitch out at that ball game was way better than Fauci's, man.
Oh, way better.
But
to be fair, he had the cocaine on his side.
That's right. The power of coke.
Never underestimate the coke. Presidential coke, man. That's got to be good.
Oh yeah, it's the best, man. Straight from Colombia. Come on, dude. The
Oh,
Clintons bring
you
it
know
in.
they ship it in. They got their own farm.
For sure. Oh man. Well, I find all of this very interesting. Today I was watching football and I noticed that there was no mention of 9/11 whatsoever. It was really bizarre.
Not even at the football games.
No, I
Like
saw nothing, man. I really
that's
maybe they just
terrible.
didn't air it, but
They want you to forget.
I was kind of just thinking how it has more to do with the unification. I'm really kind of into that focus where that moment in time right after I think we were just unified as a country and as people, and there was no division amongst us. We were all Americans. And then now that doesn't play into the narrative of the Democrats. In fact, they need us to be divided. So you can't do a celebration of 9/11. It'll just remind people like, hey, you remember back in 2001, we were all kind of neighbors.
You're right.
We were in this together actually back then.
And not only that, you know what it is too is like remember they tried to cancel 4th of July.
Exactly.
And you could do it because you're like, well, it's celebrating, white slave owners.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Right.
But like, what are you gonna say about the 9/11 victims? Like, there's literally nothing you can do to turn that around.
Or how about the service members who took the call to arms immediately after and joined the forces and went to go defend America's freedom overseas? I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about how people reacted in the immediate aftermath of this incident. And again,
it was amazing, dude. The patriotism.
Yes, it was phenomenal, man. It was incredible.
Man, everybody had a flag.
Like Rudy Giuliani was on SNL.
Yeah, that's right. He was America's mayor.
It didn't matter that he was a Republican.
For those of you who weren't alive, for frame of reference, just look around, but picture every Ukraine flag is an American flag. That's what it looked like. We used to be America.
Could you imagine something happening now and a Republican goes on SNL in solidarity with everybody else, right? Like I couldn't imagine that happening.
Oh God. How could you? Did the Hitler bring a Nazi on SNL?
It's crazy how far we've come though. 20 years ago, there was a conservative as mayor of New York. Kind of crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, because he was cleaning it up.
Yeah, right. They had rampant crime and they needed someone to clean it up, dude.
That's what happens. When everything gets good and comfortable, that's when you start voting in Democrats.
Right, because you have time to worry about stuff like, who's being misgendered and crap like that.
Yeah, we got all this money. Everything's good. Come on. Yeah, give some to the poor people. Help the poor people. Yeah, don't lock them up, And then it's like, oh my God, where's that guy we called the asshole? We need him to come clean this shit up.
Yeah, man. Well, 9/11, Mike. What say you on the 9/11? Did we let one slip through the cracks, or did we orchestrate the big one? Huh?
So I gotta tell you, man, it is so weird to look back on it now, especially after this year, after the past 2 years. Like, now the trust in the DOJ and everything is totally gone. Totally gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now with everything you guys did with COVID, everything you guys are doing to Trump, all the cover-ups, it's like, man, the conspiracy theories are more believable than ever.
Absolutely.
Now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. For sure.
And then the I don't know if you got that. Oh yeah, I think you got that clip of Rumsfeld.
Oh, I got that. Yes, sir.
It's 20 years later, and we never got to the bottom of this. The problem just got worse.
Well, World Trade Center 7, building number 7, famously, it just demolished itself for no reason. Pretty crazy.
It just fell, Frank.
Across the street, it had no reason to demolish down. It
was the vibrations.
That's right. Structural damage, I believe.
Yeah, they had to just Couldn't take it. All the buildings around the towers were fine, but this one a block away, yeah, the vibrations got it.
I've gone through this idea many times in my head. There's been many theories floated about it, and I could see it as being a potential true path here for what happened. What if the images we've seen on video were just CGI made images, and they really just shot some rockets into these buildings?
I really wouldn't be surprised.
It could happen.
The
so
Pentagon
fast.
was not hit by a plane.
No, but I mean, imagine a drone, right?
Yeah.
You could fly a drone into a building very easily, equipped with some sort of mini nuke, and
Easy.
And by the way, I mean the heat at which the steel melted, right? We got to be talking about a nuke here, yeah.
See, I don't believe that. I believe there were explosives in place to drop the building.
Really, you do believe that? Because there were
I'm
many.
I'm going so far on this, man. I don't trust these motherfuckers at all.
Wow.
And my problem is the amount of money that you guys like. Not only did you guys wipe out trillions of dollars that nobody could find, you guys then went and made trillions of dollars.
Yes.
Like, you literally stole money from the government to build this corporation, and then erased that debt, and then that corporation was now large enough to take on contracts with the government to legally take all this money from the... I can't imagine anything more shady.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, how about the fact that one of the guys who was there every day eating breakfast or whatever, the real estate agent, he just wasn't there that day?
Not only that, yeah, dude, and then the insurance policies.
The insurance policies that they took out right beforehand. How about the fact that the one spot of the Pentagon that was attacked, they just happened to all be not there that day working? Everybody in that entire wing was just not there.
Nobody was worried. Nobody was in that part of the building. Nothing was in that part of the building except the only paperwork that could prove where the money went. Where
Exactly.
the $2 trillion went.
How about the fact that there is absolutely no video recording of whatever hit the Pentagon?
Oh, there's one from a parking lot.
From a gas station.
The only camera the fucking Pentagon has.
It's a lot of weird stuff. I do support the fact that there were multiple bombs placed throughout both World Trade Center buildings. All firefighters, witnesses, everybody there in real time were reporting that they were hearing multiple explosions throughout the building. It's the way that it was a demolition, man.
So the way that those things came down, it was too perfect.
It was beautiful. It was like a perfect demolition.
I keep hearing though that they implant like explosives in every building. I don't think it's true.
I was
apparently
seeing, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, like they have planned demolition explosives set up in these major skyscrapers just in case.
Not everyone, but if it's so big or whatever, they have to.
I think if it has
start to go down.
I think if there's some element of the government being involved with that building, right?
It has to be, dude.
So they can demolish it in real time.
You don't want that shit. Yeah.
So we're both agreeing the World Trade Center towers were demolished.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Yeah,
that's awesome. I love it. It's rare that we agree on the conspiracies.
So. Yeah, I told you, man. I'm fucking like looking back on it now with everything they did with COVID and everything. It's like, dude, hell yeah, these motherfuckers. They invented this whole COVID thing so they could make billions of dollars on injecting you with a fucking vaccine. Like, you don't think they knocked down a couple buildings? Of course.
Isn't it weird with the perspective of COVID now that it just seems so much more plausible that this was a government incited incident, or like they planned this?
Oh, plausible. It's not even like a surprise. Like, oh yeah, of course. But they lied to the people. They got them into a war that lasted 20 years. Well, did you see the sheep lined up for the COVID test every day? I mean, of course they fell for it. God damn.
Oh man.
They literally said we can't do another 9/11 because there's too many cameras. So we're gonna do a soft 9/11.
Soft
we're gonna
one.
We're gonna
Oh
do a
my
virus,
god, dude, that's so funny.
You know. Oh, this is such a scam, dude. 9/11 was a fucking scam. You know how 9/11's a scam is because nobody that did anything in 9/11 got in trouble. We didn't even go into fucking Saudi Arabia.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right? We invaded Afghanistan to go after a guy who was living in Pakistan. Like it's. I don't know.
No, you're right, dude. I mean, we clearly
Somebody got their stands wrong.
We obviously. We obviously went into Afghanistan to set up some poppy fields or, set up our medicine fields for Big Pharma, right?
Exactly, so we could get the opioids.
So we get the opioids, man. That's all it was about. And then we controlled that game for about 15 years, and then we moved on to mRNA. All right, new technology.
God, it's such a scam, dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's crazy. It's crazy looking back on all of it, though, because what followed 9/11 was just, we ripped up the Middle East, man.
Oh, yeah, destroyed it.
We just went over there and just had full...
It was already destroyed.
I know.
Barbarians.
We got to test out some crazy weapons out there, man.
It was good for our weaponry. Oof, we got to perfect it. Got to hone in all the electronics, drones. Drone technology.
That's where it took off, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's why, it furthers the argument that we just need to go to war every 20, 30 years just to test our weapons and get some new, some new action out there.
Battle harden the soldiers.
That's right. Yeah, good call. Because otherwise they start dyeing their hair blue and changing their genders, and we got some problems.
That's a whole other story.
All right, well, should we do the Rumsfeld dance here? This is a famous rundown. So this clip you sent me, which is crazy, it's from 9/10.
September 10th, 2001. Yes. The day he goes on national television and announces this the day before 9/11 happens, where a plane crashes into the Pentagon and wipes out all evidence of this.
Not only that, Mike, this is CBS News doing, investigative journalism. It's freaking bizarre. They're doing, a news story. That's what
that's what I couldn't believe, dude. Remember the news?
20 years ago, dude, they used to do news.
But I thought about that, but even back then, it's because these were all Republicans.
Yeah, they wanted to screw the Republicans. I get it, but still, it's still a little news. It felt good. It's good to listen. Yeah, they at least throw some info in there, and it's a deep dive. I like it. So,
it never came up was the gender or sexuality or sexual preference of anybody in this story. So it was amazing that this was the news. You know why? Well, no Peter Ducey back then to sex up the place, Once you get a Ducey in the room.
That's right. The ladies can't resist that Ducey-do.
The Ducey-do.
All right, man. We're going to do it up here. Ducey-do it up. This will be Rumsfeld on 9/10, the day before 9/11.
The day before 9/11. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreigners.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. And in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, the war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
My 03 budget calls for more than $48 billion in new defense spending.
More money for the Pentagon.
Talking Ukraine?
Remember when that was a lot of money?
That's just shocking to hear it for America. That's incredible.
Did you say 80 billion? Why'd you even wake me up, dude? Don't even get me out of bed unless there's a T after that pitch, dude. What is going on here?
$100 million.
Age my cash. Give me a minute. Jesus Christ. Did he say 80 billion?
Yeah, I think.
We spend that on car seats, dude. What are you talking about?
Car seats? We spend that on sleeves for Zelensky in Ukraine, man. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, dude.
That's what we just gave to Ukraine. Remember when our government actually had to beg us for money?
Remember when our government spent money on our own stuff for us?
On our own safety.
It's crazy. This is crazy stuff.
Who's this extremist?
This guy sounds like a fascist to me, Mike. I don't know about you.
I mean, the most amazing thing is Rumsfeld. What was he? Secretary of State?
Defense.
Secretary, yeah, but
State?
It doesn't matter what he was.
Yeah.
It was somebody in the cabinet actually coming out here and talking about an issue that he found, and he was going to solve it.
Yes, and he wasn't wearing
And
dog
it had
leather
nothing to
vests.
do with equity.
That's
You know?
absolutely. And honestly, for better or for worse, Rumsfeld was in his position because of years of being a political hack and being a crony and being a part of, all this corruption since the days of Nixon. Sure, but at least he had experience, you know what I'm saying? And that's why he was there. You can't say the same about anyone in Joe fucking Biden's administration. They're all there because they wear leather dog masks and have satanic symbols tattooed on their chests. Like, it's so fucked up, man.
At least when Rumsfeld does it, he wears it in the privacy of his dungeons. I mean, it's his master's dungeon, okay? You know how those guys are freaks.
They're all sick fucks. We all know it, dude. But they
finish the sick fucks.
They used to have the class to hide it. Yeah, all right, here we go. We'll roll down this.
Yeah, I have the class to
disgusting
hide it,
pathway.
all right?
All right. Take it away, Rummy.
There used to be a time when the Democrats were fucking the kids in the closet, you know?
Right.
They kept it hidden on an island. And all the Republicans were fucking boys behind closed doors, you know?
And we all ignored it. It was good times.
Lindsay was in his prime.
You talking Lady G? Absolutely. All right, here we go.
25% of what it already spends.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
2.3 trillion with a T. That's $8,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. To understand how the Pentagon can lose track of trillions, consider the case of one military accountant who tried to find out what happened to a mere
was like
300
$4
million.
trillion.
We know it's gone,
Right.
but we don't know what they spent it on.
Jim Minery, a former Marine turned whistleblower, is risking his job by speaking out for the first time about the millions he noticed were missing from one defense agency's balance sheets. Minery tried to follow the money trail, even crisscrossing the country looking for records.
The director looked at me and he says, "Why do you care about this stuff?" It took me aback, My supervisor asked me why I care about doing a good job. So
He was reassigned and says officials then covered up the problem by just
Classic.
writing it off.
they got to cover it up. That's where the corruption comes in. They've got to cover up the fact that they can't do the job.
The Pentagon's Inspector General partially substantiated several of Minery's allegations, but could not prove officials tried to manipulate the financial statements. 20 years ago, Pentagon employee Franklin C. Spinney made headlines exposing what he calls the accounting games. He's still there, and although he does not speak for the Pentagon, he believes the problem has gotten worse.
Those numbers are pie in the sky. The books are cooked routinely year after year after year.
Retired Vice Admiral Jack Shanahan commanded the Navy's Second Fleet the first time Donald Rumsfeld served as Defense Secretary.
With good financial oversight, we could find $48 billion in loose change in that building without having to hit the taxpayers.
In the 2.5 minutes since this report
So much
began,
money.
the Pentagon has spent nearly $2 million, and it may never know where 25% of those tax dollars went. In Los Angeles,
What?
I'm Vince Gonzalez for Eye on America.
Hey, thanks, Vince.
25%.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's back then. It's probably so much worse now.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
That
dude.
shit doesn't get better. It gets swept under the rug. I told you about it when I was in the army, how we were just writing off $100,000 chips that nobody could find.
A
It was like
write-off.
a joke.
That's outrageous, man. Honestly.
The problem with the military, right, is like I was a mechanic, so I signed for a toolbox, right?
Yeah.
But I signed for it from a captain who was supposed to do like quarterly checks, you know?
Yeah.
But she never did. And she was technically signing it out from the lieutenant colonel who was supposed to do her yearly checks. She never did either, you know? And it was like they were supposed to, they all reported to the guy who's the colonel, and he never did his check. So when it came, my toolbox was missing, right? Nobody wanted to be responsible, you know? And if you just went high enough up the chain, a guy could just sign it off.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's crazy.
That's what a write-off is?
That's what he's talking about write-off, yeah. Once you have a high enough clearance, you literally just go into the computer and you change a 1 to a 0, and there was no toolbox. Not only was there no toolbox, your unit wasn't even ever assigned a toolbox.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
why
incredible.
whenever because we were in the motor pool, and whenever like battalions would rotate out of the Middle East,
Yeah.
and there was always that like 1 to 2 week period where the motor pool was empty, that they were that one moved out of and one was moving into,
Right.
and whatever's in there, nobody signed for it. That's the shit that just they wrote off, and then they found it later on, but nobody wanted it. You know what I mean? That's where I got all those bayonets from,
Amazing.
because there was just a box of bayonets under a table that nobody knew was there. And that's technically like sensitive shit, whatever. So that should have been like high priority. But you get a lieutenant colonel or a colonel, and they'll sign it off. They'll write it off
They'll write it off.
because they don't want anybody asking them questions. You know?
Yeah, and also it's basic modern day business, right? Where you need to spend more in order to get more, right?
Exactly. You can't have leftover for the budget. You have to spend every penny so you can ask for more next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's smart
That's
stuff.
Why they don't care.
Write it off.
What is a write-off? Do you even know?
Oh man, that's a classic Seinfeld.
Seinfeld,
Yeah, dude.
You just write it off. Everybody's just writing it off.
That's Kramer and Jerry, right? That's the best, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I got it right here. Actually, here we go. There's Seinfeld writing it off.
Oh, hey, you got it.
Hey, what happened to my stereo? It's all smashed up.
That's right. Now, it looks like it was broken during shipping, and I insured it for $400.
But you were supposed to get me a refund.
You can't get a refund. Your warranty expired 2 years ago.
So we're gonna make the post office pay for my new stereo now?
It's a write-off for them.
How is it a write-off?
They just write it off.
Write it off what?
Jerry, all these big companies, they write off everything.
You don't even know what a write-off is.
Do you?
No, I don't.
But they do. And they're the ones writing it off.
Wish I had the last 20 seconds of my life back.
Classic.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what a write-off is either. These right on the money. That's amazing.
I don't even know what a write-off is. Like, what are they writing it off of? That's the best part.
That's amazing, and that's literally what they do in the military. And hey, look, that's what 9/11 was, right? It was a write-off.
It's just a write-off. Write off 2 buildings.
Wow.
Dude, they literally had
3.
the
Never
insurance
forget
plan, so
Building
that
7,
if it
Mike.
hit- What's up?
Never forget Building 7, dude.
I know. That's where that. You know what? That's the answer to what are you writing off of? You're writing it off of Building 7.
That's right.
You just
Yeah.
write everything on a piece of paper, put it in Building 7, and we'll take it down.
Well, you know what everyone memory holes, it seems like, is the Flight 93.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You know what's weird about that? Remember, almost immediately, seemingly afterwards, they came out with that movie, Flight 93.
Oh, the heroes.
The
dude.
heroes.
They took it down.
And what do we always say, Mike? Whenever there's heroes, it's bullshit.
It's not true.
It's a fake story, dude.
Bullshit.
It's Hollywood.
Flight 93 was on its way to the White House, and that's why that was the only one they had to take out. And they blew it up, and they
shot it out of the air. Yeah, and do you know the story where they're like, "Let's roll"? That was the catchphrase.
Yeah. Oh, dude. They blew that shit out of the sky. It was scattered for like 25
across miles, dude. They absolutely they incinerated that thing, dude. Like whatever
25
whatever super laser technology we have, it shoots shit out of the sky that's about to come to the White House. I guarantee it, dude. And it shot down Flight 93, no doubt in my mind, man.
And that was 20 years ago, dude. Imagine what they got now.
Oh, the space wars must be crazy, honestly.
Yeah, dude, they just fucking flat out lied to us.
So I read something earlier this morning when I was doing a little digging on 9/11, some refreshers, and apparently there was another flight, a fifth flight, that nobody ever talks about that got very little play, and there's a lot of skepticism whether or not it actually existed, but there was supposedly a fifth flight that got hijacked, and then it landed, and everyone dispersed, and no one ever heard of it again. It was like flight 15 or something. I can't remember the numbers.
I never heard of that. No, crazy.
Pretty wild, but it's weird because whenever it comes to these kind of strange psyop situations, right? Like with the Sandy Hook situation, in the live reporting, there's always these, there's a third gunman or a second gunman or a guy they're chasing in the woods, and then, 9/11, you had bombs going off that they later say didn't exist. Right?
Yeah,
and
right.
It's really strange how you always hear these of things happen live and they're reporting them live, but then they scrub that from any kind of internet search engine, and you can only find little snippets of it in the, when you dig deep. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's 9/11, man. That's how I think there's some false flag element going on. I'm not saying maybe the FBI, and CIA, they seem to like to plant themselves in these groups and stoke these guys to do stuff in order to push agendas, right? So
I think they had to, dude, because how else? You need these buildings to go down, and how else can you guarantee it?
Have you read about?
I think they just killed the Muslims, and they fucking did this shit themselves.
Yeah, again, I don't see how. I bet you could just shoot down the planes themselves somewhere. Could just bury them into the ocean and then fly drones into these buildings.
Yeah, how would we know?
It's way easier.
It is.
And the way these things maneuvered into those buildings, man, it's kind of professional, if you ask me.
Yeah, like no sudden jerk at the end. Like, you're gonna hesitate and do a little. Just see a little tail dive.
Maybe, man. I feel like flying a plane in itself is very difficult, but then to maneuver this thing and do the turnaround that they pulled, and then to loop around and then to nail the building the way they get it, that's really precise.
You think so?
Yeah, and these dudes failed or did poorly in their flight training classes down in Florida or wherever they were doing it.
I bet you could do it.
You think so?
Yeah, I bet you.
You think you get your hands on a jet and you're in mid-flight, you could swing it around and, without any kind of... You know what I mean? Isn't there...
Adrenaline pumping, box cutter to my throat. Yeah. I could definitely... Which building you want, I think I could hit it.
Is the story they made the pilots fly it into the thing? Or I thought they killed the pilots and took over the plane.
Yeah, I thought they slit their throat with the box cutter or something. I don't know.
And that's my point. I feel like these guys were too amateur to really make these maneuvers.
Yeah, the thing that it makes sense there with the box cutters, that doesn't. You gotta let these fuckers take over your plane with box cutters, dude.
A lot of the story doesn't make sense.
I cut myself with a box cutter once a week. I'll take a cut.
Do you know what the best part about all of the 9/11 bullshit is the 2 Saudi passports that survived the incineration process? We had 2 buildings melt to the ground, but their passports survived the entire thing. Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah, melted steel. Steel girders that held up 100 stories. Fucking just melted right through them. These fucking buildings collapsed and they found the passport.
Literally, dude.
They found the passport and the Muslim that belonged to it. Still wearing the same shirt as in the photo of the passport. That's how you knew it was him. You know? Dude, the whole thing was such a scam.
It was all just to push the Patriot
And then all flights were grounded, except for one flight left America, and it was to bring the Bin Ladens to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
You didn't hear about that? You don't remember that was in that, like, Fahrenheit 911 or whatever?
You know, I think I just forgot about it, because I've always known that the Bin Ladens were in with the CIA. It's documented, you know.
The whole family was, like, they were, like, flown out of America.
That's pretty incredible. I do vaguely recall that, but I feel like I just blocked that part of the story.
It's so absurd. The whole thing is so absurd.
That
Why don't you guys just tell us the truth?
That takes it to a whole nother level of absurdity too. You know, like we're gonna blame you guys for it, but we're gonna protect you on a flight out.
Hey Frank, you guys better get out of here. We're about to blame this disaster on you. We're about to hunt you and your whole family down, so we're gonna give you a head start.
Oh man, the best part of 9/11 really was the scene of Bush in the classroom with the kids, right? Isn't that kind of the highlight of the whole time?
Yeah, I felt bad for him on that one. He got a bad rep on that.
You think so?
I think he handled it all right.
Yeah, I feel like he was set up for that moment.
I never understood, like, I know the people, like, Democrats are always like, he just sit there and like, what are you supposed to do? Just like jump up? Oh my God, kids! You haven't been run home. It's the end of the world. We're being attacked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he played it cool, man. You play it cool. You let the kid finish the story or whatever, and then you get the fuck out of there and go take care of business. You know?
It's pretty interesting. I have no idea how I would have handled it.
I'm sure the guy didn't just whisper in his ear. It's not like everybody in the fucking military and in America, everybody in America stood still while this guy whispered in George Bush's ear, "Sir, they attacked," and everybody just sat there waiting for his command. You know what I mean?
That's
the
not
guy
how it
probably
works.
whispered in his ear, "Sir, the buildings have been struck. We're scrambled jets at every point or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the key points. We're moving people into bunkers. You know what I mean?"
Definitely.
I'm sure he was told, like, we're under control or whatever, and then he just fucking...
I would say this, because I believe right when it was happening, they rushed Cheney and Condoleezza Rice into a bunker immediately, and
Gandhi?
I think they secured the most important players in the game, and they let the clowns and puppets dance in front of the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest with you, the president really... His job is not to do anything when we get attacked. That's the military's job. Your job is to go read to kids.
That's right. He's supposed to be he's a puppet. Dance
You're
clown.
the face.
Yes, exactly.
Keep the people calm.
For sure.
You know?
Absolutely, man.
You're supposed to be the guy that keeps the people's confidence in the government and the military high.
Wow, and just the sense of keeping calm in the face of calamity or whatever, how opposite is that of Joe Biden's, like, this is a dark winter of death and despair, and you're all gonna die, you know?
You're all gonna die.
Like, man, that's completely opposite of what your job is supposed to be, dude. That's so funny.
If you're unvaccinated, you better call your lawyer.
Gonna die.
Get your will in order. Winter's coming.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of funny now that I'm kind of putting, you sandwich these kind of events together in a way, and
A leader is supposed to be the guy that you throw all your problems on top of, all right?
yeah.
And he acts like it's nothing, you know, and he just fucking, I don't know.
Definitely. You know what I'm seeing here is 9/11 and COVID lockdowns are very similar in one sense. They were both markers in our history where they immensely restricted our freedoms in ways we never thought possible before.
Yeah, good call.
9/11, we got the Patriot Act, and COVID, we got vax passports.
That's a good call. It is like huge markers Right.
Almost like every 20 years, they do something dramatic to shrink our freedoms and our wealth even further, and they take all the wealth and all the freedom for themselves.
All right, so we got 20 years, we got 18 years. We got to get on the other side of that line so we can steal the money.
That's fucking A right, Mike. We'll be at French Laundry in 20 years. You got that right, Gavin?
Oh, fuck the French. I don't
that's
even
right.
trust them with my laundry. What is that? I don't want them touching my shit.
Oh, man. Well, that's all I really got for 9/11 outside of, do you think we'll see another version of that in our lifetimes?
Yes, it's coming.
Yeah, really?
I think within the next couple of years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think they're itching for one, man. I think Ukraine's a bust, and we need a war. One of the biggest the biggest problem with Donald Trump, man, is nothing's going on in the Middle East.
Right.
we even brought the Taliban back into Afghanistan, and it's still not as bad as we wanted it to be. You know,
Truth.
right?
Oh, man. New York again or what, dude? What do you think? You remember about a month ago, there were all those nuclear warnings going out around New York City and what to do in case of a nuclear attack of some sort, right?
No, I think they're gonna do California, man. You gotta elevate. Newsom needs to become the America's mayor.
Wow,
You
the
know,
next
the
Giuliani. Oh, good call, Mike. You're on fire. Wow. Wow. All right. Yeah,
Maybe that's the 30-day storm.
Interesting. And hey, did you notice? I mean, the storm is a brewing across the country. It's been overcast everywhere. You have massive amounts of rain going on in Chicago. It's as if they've cranked the harp to max. They went to 11 on this one here, and they now are trying to get the big flood that they've been dying to get, because I feel like something's going on. No hurricanes, dude. Like, seriously.
No hurricanes.
Like, legit, what's going on? What, October maybe? Is that when the big ones hit? I don't know.
No, dude, we should be at least one. You know, there was that Hurricane Danielle or whatever but it turned out to be nothing.
Well, it seems like they're turning up the heat or the weather machine, and I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that maybe you're right on the money. Maybe we got a big one coming for California, and they do need the next America's mayor, and Cuomo was a bust.
Terrible bust.
So they got to go Gavin, American Psycho.
The psycho himself.
Oh, man. Oh, shit. Well, good stuff. I've always wanted to do a little 9/11 action, so I'm glad we went down that route.
9/11, never forget.
Never forget, except for every channel in America today, they chose to follow the Queen and football.
They spend more time on Juneteenth.
Yes! Oh, that just makes me want to throw up. That's so... You're right on the money, man.
You guys really tried to make Juneteenth a holiday. I don't know. That's sad. Yeah, fuck the Queen, dude. That is the worst.
Yeah, well, good thing we have our own queen here, Mike. You know who I'm talking about? I'm gonna blow your mind, baby.
This is the cover of the latest issue of GQ magazine. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a conversation about masculinity, power, and politics in post-Roe America. In this conversation, the 32-year-old new...
Yeah, we went from 9/11 to AOC. You got that right, America!
That's what you get on the dude, man.
New York Democrat takes victimology to new highs. Ocasio-Cortez is the ultimate victim. Grievance is the basis of her politics. She tells GQ, it's unlikely she could be elected president because so many people in America hate women. And they hate women of color, she added, just to extend her victim credentials. She says there was open hostility from Democrats right from her first day in Congress. I've experienced a lot of targeting diminishment from my own party, she says, whatever that means. She says being in Congress is tough when the GOP is trying to kill you. Oh, she's dramatic. Doesn't like to answer questions about the future because she doesn't know if she'll be alive through September. From soup to nuts, it is victimology writ large. Ocasio-Cortez is a socialist, and socialists thrive on victimology. It's why they never seem happy. They always want what you've got, but they don't want to work for it. They just want the political power that lets them take it off you. GQ magazine says Ocasio-Cortez is the political voice of a generation. Oh, I certainly hope they're wrong.
A little snarky. I liked it. I thought it was a funny clip.
AOC, money on the table. I got $1 million, says you make it to the end of September. I'm going to give you to the end of next September.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody's going to rape you, and nobody's going to murder you. Jesus fucking Christ.
How about the fact that she says she has no chance at winning the presidency because she's a woman? Come on.
It's the funniest thing in the world, because I thought there was no difference between men and women. AOC, slap on a dick and then fucking run for president. What's wrong with you? No? This is what you guys are preaching. Cut off your tits, turn part of your leg meat into a dick, and fucking run for president. Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
And I'm sure your boyfriend's just as liberal as you, so he won't have a problem with it.
I think he might like it, actually.
He looks like a guy that would like it.
Dude, what a ridiculous thing to do. First of all, she's constantly doing this fashion things. Do you notice that? She does the
is it yeah.
What was the one that taxed the rich?
Tax the Rich was the Met Gala.
Met Gala, that's what it was. And you know, GQ and
isn't GQ Gentleman's Quarterly?
Well, Mike, come on, there's no difference, right? You just said it yourself.
Right. She is a gentleman.
I think GQ is just a fashion magazine in general, and so
what is
she's
she
out
on there for to talk about that would have to do with men's fashion?
You're noticing that they want to make AOC a thing. I don't think it's working. I think she's not connecting with the base that she should be connecting with most, which is the Latinx base, right? And I think the fact that she did that whole Latinx tirade, you know, on TikTok, and then now she's constantly talking about victimhood. We talk about it many times, dude. Victimology, or like being a victim in the victimhood culture, that is such a turnoff to most people. And why would you want the leader of your area to be a victim?
You don't. People, that's what turned them on about Trump, is the winner attitude. We're going to be winners.
Yes.
We're going to be great again. You know, you're going to win so much, you're going to be tired of winning. That was literally what he said.
For sure. And look, AOC, you won't be president not because you're a woman. It's because you have this loser victimhood mentality, and nobody wants to get behind that. That's why
you know what you achieve with that? Whatever people are willing to give you, whatever they feel sorry enough to give you.
Right. You're winning on brownie points, and that only gets you so far.
That'll get you the bronze. That'll get you on the podium.
That'll get you on the podium, but
you ain't gonna be president.
No, you got to go the full Kamala if you want to get in there.
Suck some dick. AOC, you're just sucking the wrong dick. Man. You gotta go talk to the camel. I mean, you're way hotter than the camel. You could do.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Did you see the camel's back?
The camelback? What, you got humps or what happened?
The camelback. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's really funny.
I want my camelback. Kamala!
Dude, they brought her back out. She was on Meet the Press today.
Which is opposite from what she usually does. Hide from press.
Yes. Dude, they had to edit the shit out of it. It was unbelievable. You could
How
tell
long was
like
she on there?
they did a 24-minute interview, and it would constantly cut, like in the yeah, dude. She's horrible at
Did
all.
she talk about space again?
Here's the best part: the interview is at the NASA facility. You could see the computers behind her, so you could tell they filmed it like probably on Friday, right? When did they?
No, the worst part about when they do this shit at like NASA is, dude, that you guys literally walk into this room where there are teams of women with PhDs in like astrophysics and shit like that, and you're like, yeah, can all you ladies please get out of here? So we could film this retard that sucked her way to the top and try to make her a fucking relevant thing on national TV and like an inspiration for women. You know? Yeah. All you bitches with PhD, get out of here. You know what I mean, though? How about you leave the camel at home and just go interview women at NASA? That would be better. God, that would be so much better.
You're right on the money. I mean, I'd be more interested in hearing how these people plan on getting this rocket to the moon, hopefully. I'd
be more interested into why your guys' time frame is longer than the 1967 time frame, and you're not even meeting that timeline. You know?
Not even that. I don't know if you saw these photographs from, I believe it's India. They have a probe or a ship. It's doing the orbit around the moon currently, and they sent back some really like stunning photographs of the lunar surface, and in a few of them you can actually see the leftover lunar craft that we had to abandon in the 60s. Yeah, and you can actually see the flag or the flagpole or whatever is there still. It's pretty cool. Hey, I'll believe it until it's proven otherwise. I'm still a flat moon theorist, but you know, I'll leave it at that.
Flat moon. Yeah. Hey, did you see Moonfall?
What's Moonfall?
Oh, you're in for a treat if you haven't seen Moonfall.
It's a movie? Show?
It's a movie on HBO.
All right,
It's got Halle
explain.
Berry in it, dude. Halle Berry makes a comeback.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of the Halle Berry. Haley?
Yeah, whatever.
I'll go with Haley.
Dude, you have the flat moon theory?
Yes, sir.
This is hollow moon theory.
Big fan of Hollow Moon Theory. Yes, I've heard of this before, and this is a movie on it. I'm in. That means if Hollywood's doing it, means it's true.
The moon is a Dyson sphere.
Ooh. Is there like an energy source within it?
So it's actually a dwarf star that our ancestors from far, far away built a sphere around.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Don't waste your time.
Did you just spoil? Oh, yeah.
Worst movie I have seen.
Really?
In the longest.
No way.
Longest time. This is like one where I gotta go with the critics on this one, dude. Like 14. It is so fucking bad. And then they made the mistake of just, it's so long. And the fucking, like, I'm a dumb plumber, right?
Yeah, okay. All right.
But dude, get the gravity right here.
Okay.
So the moon's getting close to the Earth, right?
Sure.
So close that rocks on the moon are being pulled off of the moon by Earth's gravity.
Wow,
right?
crazy.
So these guys are trying to fly to the moon, but the rocks are like flying past them towards Earth because they're so close to gravity, right?
Sure.
Then they cut to Earth, and the people are literally being sucked off of Earth towards the moon.
Whoa!
And it's like, dude, do you guys not understand how gravity works? So in order for rocks to be blown off the moon and rocks to be blown off Earth, there has to be more mass than both the sun and the Earth in between the sun and the Earth and the moon. You know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, this is a Roland Emmerich film. He's famous for disaster films that make absolutely no sense. I believe he did Independence Day, if I'm not mistaken. And
no, that was a good movie.
You're undershooting this film in as far as the people in it. It's got Michael Pena and Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry, Charlie Plummer. It's even got Donald Sutherland, dude. This is a great flick.
I love Michael Pena.
Oh,
the worst acting he's ever done.
Really?
Oh
he's
my God,
hilarious.
worst acting he's ever done.
His comedy, at least.
His final scene, I will say, is the worst thing you have ever seen in your. It is like,
Are we entering spoiler alert territory? I want to spoil it.
It's already spoiled.
It's already...
They spoiled it. They spoiled themselves. Dude, this is a terrible ass fucking movie. Terrible acting. Terrible writing. It's the worst B movie you've ever seen.
I want to remind everyone, Roland Emmerich, the director of this movie, he did Stargate, Universal Soldier, Independence Day, Godzilla, The Patriot, The Day After Tomorrow, 2012.
Terrible movies. You're right.
He's the master of
Patriot was
he's
alright.
the master of bad action flicks.
2012. Jesus fucking Christ. God, was that bad?
I'm looking through this. I think maybe Independence Day might have been his best piece.
Yeah, that was it. That was his masterpiece.
Stargate too. I enjoyed Stargate, but it gets a little lost. But I'm a huge fan of the Kurt Russell.
Stargate, great movie. Great movie. Yeah, great movie. Kurt Russell. It's a great movie, dude.
So Moonfall, total trash, unwatchable.
Unfucking watch, and I tried so hard to make it watchable. I kept pausing it to go smoke. And like after the third pause, I wasn't even pausing anymore. I was just walking out to go smoke. I was watching YouTube videos. Like, this is so stupid. It never ended. I don't think I ever got to the final ending of it.
That's incredible.
It's like 4 hours long. None of it makes sense.
It's not popular yet. Definitely got 36% on the old Rotten Tomatoes. Not very good score.
God.
That's funny. I popped on a flick last night. It hit the Disney Plus. And I love my Disney Plus, Mike. But Thor. I never went to go see the new Thor, so I finally thought I would toss it on and
see Love and Thunder.
The Love and Thunder, yeah.
Oh,
I turned
it has woman Thor, right?
I turned it off, dude.
No, unwatchable.
Oh my god. I'm not kidding. It's horrible. It's just I don't know. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I stood up and did some dishes. That's how bad it was. I had to reassess my life watching this movie. It was terrible. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm never putting on Disney Plus again. I have to cancel the subscription. I felt so embarrassed with my life. I was like, this is where I am. I hit rock bottom. This is horrible.
Was it really that bad? Doesn't it how they did female Hulk? Isn't it like female Thor now?
Yeah, it's not even that, dude. There's dialogue in this movie. I don't know how they got away with putting it in a movie. I don't know what it is. I feel like they're purposely trying to stupefy the citizens of the world. It's crazy.
What happened to the writers?
They've made some cuts.
Is that what it is?
It's Joe Biden's economy, dude.
You can only afford so many words. I'm telling you, man. The dialogue is not natural anymore in these movies.
There's a scene, I think it's where I turned it off. The head of this rock guy survives, and he's on the bar, and they're drinking because it's a funny, whimsical movie, and and then he starts telling a story about his two dads, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what am I watching? And he's talking to the leader of the Thor world, who's a lesbian woman, and I'm just like, I couldn't do it anymore. I was just exhausted. I was exhausted from thinking about that. I don't want to think about that.
Isn't it opening week? Aren't the Bears on?
I was like, is it Sunday yet? You know what I did? I put on Bill Maher. It's so lame. I was like, I'm going to watch Bill Maher.
That's even worse.
Dude, I'm not kidding, though. I had to turn it off. It was completely unwatchable. And that's what people... I don't think they realize that you've made this stuff just unenjoyable. To the point... I don't... This dialogue I don't need to hear. Get it out. You're boring me.
Yeah. What do you...
Pure trash.
Is it tanking in the money-wise, or is it doing good?
No, it made good money. I think those movies will always make money, and there's always going to be audiences for that, whatever it is. Yeah. And the more woke they go, I think no matter what, people still pile in for it. But Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is going to be, at some point or another, a backlash and people just stop showing up at the theater. I actually talked to Emma about it today because she fell asleep after 10. I'm not kidding. Like, the first 5 minutes, the Guardians of the Galaxy are in it, and it's pretty funny, and whatever. And then they leave, and then the story is just so fucking boring and dumb. And Emma fell asleep, and she asked me how it was the next day. I'm just like, I said, our days of going to see these movies in the theater are over for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, until they change it up.
I can't go unless I'm guaranteed from like the reviews and everything now that number one, it's 90 minutes.
Yes!
No more 2 hours plus.
I'm with you on this one, man. If you can't tell me the story in 90 minutes, you need to break it up into 2 movies.
Learn how to tell a story. Go back to school. Hire someone who can tell a story.
And for all of our listeners, yes, we are aware that this is coming from 2 guys who do a 2-hour podcast.
And
times a week.
and that's right. And it's pure tangent. Nothing but tangent.
The guys in the middle of their 2-hour show. Why can't you be 90 minutes, assholes? And we're about to take a break for our second hour.
Good call. Well, either way, number one sounds like Moonfall. Skip it, folks. Sounds unwatchable. And I'll say the same to anyone thinking about checking out the new Thor now that it's on streaming services. Skip it. Unwatchable. Not worth your time. I was deeply disappointed. And we are at that hour mark, I guess, huh, Mike? All right.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to come back. Got more to talk about.
Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. All I have on the docket is the Queen. That's what it looks like. Just the Queen.
No, that's what I meant. A lot to talk about. I want to talk about her early childhood, and then we'll work up into. For those that don't know, this first show is just going to be the early days before she became queen, and then tonight we're going to do a 3-hour special on her reign, and then we'll do a 2-hour post review on what might be after her, what will be her legacy.
And then join us tomorrow night for our 3-hour Who's Chuck special, where we deep dive Charles III.
Who gives a Chuck?
Followed by a Q&A, Chuck You. It's going to be a good one.
It's genius.